My name is Suffolk County Legislator William Lindsay. I represent the 8th Legislative District in Suffolk County. I want to thank you all for being here this morning on this historic event. In my 4 years as being a legislator, I think this is the first time I've seen these two legislative bodies come together, united for one effort, and that is to hopefully help bring the Islanders back to Long Island, where we all feel they belong. So in line with introductions, I just want to give some brief introductions of who's here this morning. We have the presiding officer of the Suffolk County Legislature, Dwayne Gregory. We have the presiding officer of the Nassau Legislature, Norma Gonsalves. Gonzalez, I'm sorry. Suffolk County Minority Leader, Kevin McCaffrey. Nassau County Minority Leader, Kavan Abrams. Legislator Arnold Drucker from Nassau County. We have Legislator Laura Curran from Nassau County. Legislator Ellen Birnbaum from Nassau County. Legislator Delia DeRiggi-Witten, thank you. And from Nassau County, Legislator Carrie Salagas, okay, thanks.
Legislator Steve Rhodes.
Legislator Steve Rhodes.
You got Doc Spencer.
I got Legislator William Spencer from Suffolk County.
Vinnie Muscarella.
Legislator Vinnie Muscarella from Nassau County.
Legislator Rose Walker.
Legislator Rose Walker from Nassau County.
Legislator Laura Schaefer.
Legislator Laura Schaefer from Nassau County.
Legislator James Kennedy.
Legislator James Kennedy.
Take the mic.
So pretty much, we've definitely got a quorum, that's for sure.
We should have given him a list.
And we have James Kennedy from Nassau County, Robert Trotta from Suffolk County, Legislator Doc Spencer from Suffolk County, Legislator Don McKenzie, Legislator Bridget Fleming from Suffolk County, and representing Legislator Leslie Kennedy, who's recovering right now, is her legislative aide, Zachary Viola. Did I miss anybody on the government side? Okay. And from the LIA, we have Kevin Law representing the Long Island Association. We also have representatives from our partners in labor, from Local 25 that are here, as well as some of our other labor unions. So really we're gathered here this morning in a united effort to try to bring the Islanders back to Long Island. And for many years, many of us, and I know I can speak for myself personally, grew up as an Islanders fan, rooting for the teams that were so successful and such a huge part of our communities. Not only were they big within the sports arena, but they were very ardent stewards of our communities. They were oftentimes at community events. They were great in terms of supporting the communities which supported them. And we feel very strongly that the time to bring them back is now. In looking at just the attendance figures alone from the last year that they played here to the last year in Brooklyn, they actually drew more people here at a venue that had less seating. This is a newly renovated building. There has been some information that's been put out that they cannot accommodate the Islanders at this location. We feel that that's not correct. There can be corrections and alterations that would be made by the facility if the Islanders were to commit to play here, even if they were to commit to play here on a temporary basis or to play here a number of games per season. So I am very proud to try to lead this charge to try to get these two legislative bodies together, along with our partners in business, our partners in labor, and our friends and citizens and community members that are Islander fans in general. So with that, I'd like to turn the mic over to my colleague in the legislature, our presiding officer, Legislator Dwayne Gregory.
Good afternoon. It's my pleasure to be in Nassau County, and Norma gave me a relief on my passport, so we're going to try to make this quick as possible. We know budgets are tight both in Nassau and Suffolk, so try to keep our tax dollars in Suffolk County from my perspective. It's great to be with my colleague Norma Gonzalez and our colleagues in the Nassau County Legislature, as well as my colleagues in the Suffolk County Legislature. I want to thank Bill Lindsay for coordinating this event and encouraging the Islanders to come back to not just Nassau County, but the Long Island region, because it's important to our region, and that's why we're here today as Suffolk County residents to say that this doesn't only benefit Nassau County, it benefits Suffolk County residents that don't want to trek all the way into Brooklyn to support their team, and of course, bring it back to this region. The team back to this region is going to benefit local businesses, the local economy, and that's what we want. We want our fans to have the convenience of supporting their teams. 40 years the Islanders have been around, and we've been supporting them wholeheartedly, and we're encouraging them to come back. So we stand here in solidarity, asking for the negotiation of discussions to go forward. We're hoping that they do come to fruition, and we'll be able to see the Islanders back here soon. So thank you very much, and go Islanders.
Next, I'd like to ask the presiding officer from Nassau County to speak as well.
Thank you very much. Welcome to the beautiful, beautiful Coliseum. I need to say to you that this is not the first time that Suffolk and Nassau County has come together. I believe both counties are part of LICAP, correct? We have worked together on trying to restore transportation here, not only to Nassau County, but to Suffolk County as well. We were successful to a degree, but not as successful as we wanted to be. But let me say something to you. I'm the kind of person who looks at the glass of water that is half full in a very positive way, primarily because we have the heart and soul of Nassau County and Suffolk County here at the Coliseum with the hope that we will bring the Islanders back. I deliberately wore orange, blue, and white today, primarily because it's a symbol. It's a symbol to tell everyone that the Islanders belong here in this beautiful venue. And it may take a lot of negotiation. Yes, they do. It may take a lot of hard work on the part of both counties, but most of all, we have to reach the Islanders to give them the incentives to come back to the Coliseum, because this is where they belong. And I know a lot of people who are Islander fans, and I also know that they're season ticket holders. And they're not too happy when they have to go to Brooklyn. And sometimes they decide, well, you know what? It's not, they'd rather not go and watch it. They'll see it on TV. That's not the way we want to see it. We want to see it here. And I think the Islanders want to come back here. And we got to make it worth their while to get back here. So on with the march. And I have to say that there's a young man, and I would like to introduce him, Mr. Romano, who spearheaded today's effort, bringing both counties together. Where are you, Mr. Romano? Where are you? Okay. And it's really, it takes one to get things started. And that one really comes out and makes sure that all of us stand together. You want to say something, Mr. Romano?
I think you said it all.
Oh, come on, say it.
Well, I think it's like you said, I think it's an enormous achievement that regardless of what side of the political spectrum you came from, the common chain that binds us all are the New York Islanders. And Scott and John, you have a golden opportunity here. Not only do these representatives represent tens of thousands of loyal fans, but they represent 2.9 million people. That's an enormous marketing reservoir. So sometimes our quest to make that perfect fit, we fail to see the obvious what's standing right in front of us. This lovely building with an enormous amount of history is right here for your taking. Thank you very much.
I'm going to take the liberty of also introducing the minority leader. Come on, Abrams. Oh, I'm sorry. This is the minority leader?
Yes, he's the
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, Kevin, I'm sorry. All right, that's all right. It's okay. It's okay. I didn't say anything that was wrong.
No, you never do, Norma. My name is Kevin McCaffrey, and I'm the minority leader in Suffolk County Legislature. And it's my pleasure to be here, not only with our Nassau legislators and all the people that are supporting the Islanders. It's nice to see that Nassau and Suffolk can get together across party lines about something that's so very important, like we've had on many other issues, with transportation or the opiate addiction problem. And we are, and it's important that we be here today. And then there's just as many Islander fans in Suffolk County as there are in Nassau County. These are the Islanders, and the Islanders belong back here on Long Island, and that is seen by the way that people want to be back here. That's why we're here. That's why all the Islander fans want us to have us back here, and we're happy to be here to be part of that. And even though we won't share in the sales tax revenue, maybe we can work that out, Norma. We'll be happy to be part of the solution of bringing them back to Nassau Coliseum. Thank you very much. Okay, and it's my pleasure to introduce my colleague on the other side, the other minority leader, and we both have had a discussion before about how difficult our jobs may be. But Kavan Abrams, the minority leader in Nassau County.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
First, I want to thank Bill Lindsay for shepherding and emceeing today's press conference. I've been there trying to MC, and names are floating up and being added at the same time. It's not an easy job, but I want to thank Bill for his leadership. I want to thank Presiding Officer Dwayne Gregory. I want to thank Presiding Officer Norma Gonzalez and my counterpart, also Minority Leader Kevin McCaffrey, as well as all the legislators that are here today to stand in solidarity to make sure that the Islanders come back home. My father once said to me when I was going off to college, no matter what happens, son, you can always come home. Well, I realized that he didn't really mean that he wanted me to come back home. But I will say he realized that home is where we are at our best. And where the Islanders are at their best is in this building. They can go to Brooklyn, they can go to Belmont, they can go anywhere, but the championships that they won, the Stanley Cups that they won, will always be home. And think about it. Not just this Coliseum, but this entire property is going through a transformation. And I want to continue to thank the folks at Forest City because I saw what they did with the Brooklyn downtown area, how it's bustling, how Barclays is bustling, how that area has been transformed. The Islanders' best investment is going to be right here when we're done with our phases on this property and when we're bringing jobs and transformation and opportunity back to Uniondale. So I am very proud to stand here. Oh, sure. Thank you, Delia. I paid her for that. I am very happy to stand here with my colleagues in government, as well as labor, as well as our folks in economic development groups, to make sure that the Islanders know full well and clear that we want them back here in Nassau for the Long Island region, and we want them to come back home. Thank you again, and God bless each and every one of you. Before I forget, it's my opportunity to introduce my colleague in Nassau, Legislator Arnie Drucker.
Thank you. Thank you, Kavan. Thank you, all of you. And I echo the sentiments of all of my colleagues here. It's really a very overwhelming thing to see this complement of government elected officials. In my short tenure as a legislator, I have to imagine that it's rather rare to get this type of solidarity. And to be honest with you, you see, it's not just a consensus regarding the Islanders, it's unanimity. And I don't know how often you get unanimity from both legislatures on Long Island. But as a kid growing up a few miles down the road here, I was a huge Islander fan. I became a season ticket holder, and I have fondest memories of coming here during those championship runs, bringing my kids here when they were young, meeting the players. One of my biggest thrills was one of the Islanders, John Potvin, lived around the block from me, and we used to see him and go by his house, and it was all very exciting. So, you know, when the Islanders were unceremoniously kicked out the door here, it really stung for me personally, and it stung for 3 million Long Islanders here. I mean, all of us here, the elected officials, represent 3 million residents of Long Island, and they want the Islanders back, and we need to listen to them. We need to make it happen. And I think that we can prevail upon the parties that are involved in this process, the Nassau Events, the Islanders, the NHL, and our county government. We can prevail upon that because with our voices here, with this unanimity of people and elected officials, they have to listen to us. The Islanders belong here. When they were on Long Island, when they were in this building over here, they became the fabric of Long Island. They were involved in our community in all aspects, and we miss them, we need them, we want them back, and we can make it happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'd like to introduce our next speaker, an important partner in the business community representing so many different businesses throughout Long Island, Kevin Law from the Long Island Association.
Good afternoon. Thank you all for being here. Norma, thank you. Dwayne, Kavan, Kevin, and Bill, thanks for having me here today. I think this is an event that demonstrates the regional support for the Islanders. The Islanders transcend politics. That's why you have Democrats and Republicans here. The Islanders transcend communities. They transcend counties, both Nassau and Suffolk counties. And the new owners of the Islanders, who aren't really that familiar with Long Island, they need to understand that the heart of the fan base is here in Nassau and Suffolk counties. And so events like this are worthwhile because it demonstrates that. And I really think it's also a demonstration of Long Islanders coming together. Just this week, we proved Long Island could get together when the third track of the Long Island Railroad got approved. Something that was proposed 6 decades ago, something that everybody said would never happen, but Democrats and Republicans got together, village mayors, county leaders got together, business labor got together, and for something that people said would never ever happen, it happened. And there are a lot of naysayers out there saying, well, the Islanders they made their decision, they're not coming back to the Nassau Coliseum. Don't ever say never. I don't do a lot of press conferences. I tend to work behind the scenes on a lot of different issues. And I get privy to some information. And it has come to my attention that I know that if the Islanders commit to a substantial number of games here at the Coliseum, anything that needs to be done to bring this facility into NHL compliance will be done. Let me say that again. Let me say that again. If the Islanders commit to a substantial number of games here at the Coliseum, anything that needs to be done to bring this facility into NHL compliance will be done. So let's stop the myths, let's stop the naysayers. Things can happen. Let's keep the faith. Go Islanders.
Well, that concludes the program that we have. And just in closing, is pick up on the theme that Kevin left off with. There is so many years of being a fan for the Islanders that we watched them time and time again where people said they couldn't do this or they couldn't do that. They couldn't win 4 Stanley Cups in a row. How many times did we see them defy those odds and do those difficult deeds? We need to give them the same respect, and in our efforts here, with all the naysayers out there who are saying this can't be done, we know that it can. And through the united effort that you see behind me here, I feel very strongly that it can happen, and my hope is that it will happen. So thank you. Yeah, did anybody have any questions for the group?
All right, so I'll start with the naysayer. So the Islanders have already come up with schematics for Belmont. The NHL commissioner is on the record saying the Coliseum's not ready. And Brooklyn developer Bruce Ratner, who built the building, told the legislature in 2013 that if the Islanders were to ever play here full time, to make it fully capable, it cost about $300 million, and we would have to start from scratch. So outside of hope, what kind of actual plan is there to convince them to financially make this a reasonable opportunity?
Will you look forward, please?
Sure. Kevin, you want to?
So, Robert, whatever was said a few years ago, I wasn't privy to it. I do know what's happening today. And sure, they could be looking at other places. And as smart business people, who the new owners are, it's in their interest to look at options. But this is a very viable option. And for those who don't believe the Coliseum is a viable option, they're wrong. It doesn't mean that there isn't other options. but this is an option. It should stay on the table, and just because they're exploring other paths, any good business person explores options, explores paths, and even if it means they spend a few dollars going down those paths. One doesn't preclude the other.
What can be learned from the past in terms of keeping them here should they come back?
That's a great question. I don't think Long Island has done a good job in the past of demonstrating regional support and vocalizing the majority. And typically, you see people who are against something come out. And this is a start of the beginning of showing that there is support for them here. And again, as business people, they need to recognize, wow, there is a lot of support. And I know there's going to be support from the business community, the support from the labor community, support from the political community, and that should mean something to them. May not carry the day, but they'll be paying attention. And so it's important to demonstrate that regional support.
Kevin, how about the issue of modern...
Isn't this your event?
Your statement that you made, is that a message from the operator of the Coliseum, the governor? I mean, where is that coming from?
You could, imply whatever you want, Greg, but I don't reveal all my sources.
A modern NHL arena right now has like 20,000 square feet of locker room facilities, weight room and stuff. Obviously, public transportation is an issue. Suites in Barclays, there's 100 suites. I think here is like 10 or 11. Obviously, just mass seats is an issue too. I mean, that's a lot to be done to retrofit this kind of arena to a modern NHL arena. Is Forest City or is NEC up to doing that kind of?
The discussions I've had covered a multitude of options, including, as you said, building more suites, building modern locker rooms, building an Islanders retail store. But again, the key is anything that needs to be done to bring the facility into NHL compliance can and would be done if the Islanders commit to a substantial number of games here.
What is a substantial number of games and how much money are you talking about?
Well, what's the season? The season is 80 games. That means there's about 40 home games. So a substantial part of 40.
And then how much money would it take to bring this up to their standards?
Engineers can figure that out. And, you're talking about people with some significant wealth who are involved in all the different options that are out there. I think there's enough money out there that whatever it costs would not trigger any public taxpayer dollar requirements, and that if these folks get together and reach a deal, they have enough resources to do the changes that might need to be made here. Somebody else could add.
I'm sorry, we can't hear you. Can you speak louder?
Who's going to stop one political party from sabotaging the efforts, like what happened during the vote that we had, where Jay Jacobs targeted certain areas to make sure the vote went down, so not to get the Coliseum held for anything.
Yeah, go ahead.
I believe so. You're talking about the. I believe you're talking about the referendum vote.
Right.
Well, obviously, I think in solidarity in Nassau, my colleagues on the other side of the aisle, Norma Gonzalez, we came in solidarity to ensure that this building was built. So I don't want to get caught up in what happened in a 2010 vote on a referendum. I think it was much larger. That was also using taxpayer dollars. So it was a much more different dynamic. This building is being built without taxpayer dollars. It was built without taxpayer dollars. It was built with NEC dollars. So it's a little bit different dynamic. But I think what today's press conference signifies is that everybody's working together. Everybody's on one path. I mean, you take a look at the transformation that's occurring on this property, not just this building, but with the Memorial Sloan Kettering building as well, and then the other things that are looking to be happening here in Phase 2. That doesn't happen without a united Nassau County legislature for this property.
Are the legislators concerned about the future of the Coliseum if the Belmont Arena is built?
I'm going to say no. It's not entered our minds. It's an entertainment center, and this is what it's about.
Seems like the NHL has indicated a preference for the owners wanting to go there, though. At least that's what we see in these published reports, that there is interest on the part
In going to Belmont?
Yeah.
Well, I think Kevin said it best. I think there's interest in making sure they understand and look at and review all their options, which I would say any educated, smart business person would do. There's nothing wrong with that.
So where is the money going to come from, that from private sources that will pay for this?
Well, I think it can come from a couple different things. One, this building was built with private resources. It was built with Forest City NEC dollars. Two, obviously, if anything that's being done to the building has to come back to the legislature at some point, because I'm sure there are provisions in the agreement that were going to require us to either vote on again or the county executive is going to have to review again. That being said, I think that's what this press conference is today about, is that whatever has to come through the legislature, and I'm speaking for Norma, is that it will pass unanimously, I'm assuming, because it has the solidarity and it has the support in the legislature. So we envision it moving forward, regardless of the scenario, because the Islanders is way too important not to come back home.
And what was your reaction when you saw Gary Bettman, the NHL commissioner, coming out and saying, as I have said consistently, the NHL does not view the Nassau Coliseum as a suitable host for the Islanders?
I believe that Mr. Law did allude to that particular issue, and anything can be done. And I believe also that if we need additional seating, if we need additional boxes for the so-called elite, so to speak, and that's what this comes down to, there are ways in which to do it. If we continue to look in a bipartisan way, in an optimistic way, we never say never. There are many things in our lives that if we said never, I don't think we would even be standing here. So I honestly think that there are ways in which we can convince those who think that this is not the proper venue for the Islanders. And I say, go Islanders.
I would also say that Gary Bettman is one person, and he works for the owners of all the franchises in the NHL.
That's right.
They have the vote. And Gary Bettman doesn't know or understand or have any clue of what 3 million people on this island want. And for him to say that it's inappropriate, that it doesn't fulfill their needs, he's wrong. Because the enhancements can be made to this building to comply and to make it suitable for an NHL franchise. And I'm sure that all the other franchise owners would not have a problem with them coming back here. And Gary Bettman is totally wrong. He doesn't know what it's like here, what's happening here today with this unanimity.
If they, that's how you really feel about Gary.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. We're going to wrap up here, and then if you guys want to stick around and ask some questions individually. Thank you, everyone, for attending today, and go Islanders.
Go Islanders.
Thank you.